Hey guys, if you're looking for help with your Amazon business in terms of troubleshooting or strategy, visit sellersessions.com/consultancy or drop me a message to danny@sellersessions.com. Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. Again, I'll bring in Brian Johnson. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing fantastic, thank you.
Excellent. And whereabouts are you at the moment? You in, is it Texas? You still based?
Yeah, I'm in Texas, South Central Texas, you bet.
Excellent. Cool. We had, who was it the other week? He's Kevin King. He's from Texas as well. He was saying that he had his horse parked outside, but you've got a big car instead, haven't you?
That's a different part of Texas than I'm in.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. So today, we don't need to do an introduction to the audience. Everyone knows who you are. So let's go straight into things. So let's talk about some new findings you've had in terms of in accounts that you manage through your company.
Okay.
What you got a new form of display stroke remarketing ads that you've been seeing pop up? Do you want to give us a bit of a background?
So what we're observing now, and then I'll give a little bit of history on this, but what we're observing right now is inside of, when you go to create inside of Seller Central, yes, in Campaign Manager, when you go to create a new campaign, if you're part of the beta program, Amazon has some, I think a small percentage of sellers that have their accounts on the beta program. Yeah. And it's usually our first signal as far as what they're working on, what they're trying to roll out to the community. Some features, can roll out in a couple of weeks from beta. Some of them take, a couple of years. External ad network / display ads is one of those that's been in beta for more than a year. Yeah. So what we're seeing right now is that if you're in Seller Central and Campaign Manager, if you have the feature that when you go to create a new campaign, you're going to have a sponsored ads campaign creation. You're going to have sponsored brands, which used to be headline search. Yeah. And then you're going to have display ads. And display ads is not the same as what we see in AMS as far as product display ads. Mm-hmm. Display ads is what Amazon refers to as far as their external advertising. In other words, showing those ads that follow you around after you visited Amazon and looked at a product, and then you're surfing around on some of the website. Those ads might show up on certain websites that Amazon is remarketing or retargeting those ads for you, mm-hmm, and showing those ads to say, hey, reminder, come back and buy this product. And it's just always kind of like that tickler that follows the shopper around. The history on that is it didn't used to be this third option as far as create campaign. It started out more than a year ago, and that was where it was simply just an option. When you go to create an automatic campaign, it was simply just an add-on option, a little checkbox where you can say, yeah, do you want your ads to run on Amazon's external ad network? Which is their same thing as what they're calling display ads now, or their retargeting ads. And we had played around with that for a couple of months, a little over a year ago, and then they turned it off or they shifted to some other beta group. And then finally in 2018, they said, oh, well, we're going to start creating automatic campaigns for you. In other words, it was Amazon's own internal team. They would contact some larger sellers, beta sellers, and they would say, oh, we're going to create a single automatic campaign. We're going to call it remarketing, and we're going to put all of your products in there. If you've got, one, or if you've got 1,000 products, we're going to put them all in one pool. And then we're going to set the default bid budget. We're going to put it in pause. All you need to do is just go and turn it on, make it active. In other words, that is you giving permission to run the ad once that they've created. The challenge on that, of course, is that, and this is something we work with certainly within clients for our own agency, as you do with yours, is in the same fashion as we always see with Amazon. When Amazon creates something for you, it's definitely to their benefit. It's usually overbearing. We saw these retargeting or remarketing automatic campaigns that were set up with, a few $100s up to $1,000 budget. We saw
daily budget,
$15 bids. It was just like, okay,
Gorging, price gorging. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like, so my recommendation was always like, yeah, let's tune that back until we can really figure out what this is actually going to do for it. And it was a good thing we did.
Yeah.
So this new option on Campaign Manager, for those of you who do see it as display ads when you go to create a new campaign, that's because you're part of the beta program and you're getting at least a short-term access, because they may pull that back at any time in the future.
Quick question for you. If someone wanted to join the beta program, is there somewhere where they can just sign up in their Seller Central account?
So there isn't. There used to be. What we used to do is, because of our direct contacts with the API team, and some of our internal contacts within Amazon, we could supply a list of seller IDs that we could have them request that they would add that on and add that on as a beta feature, so they have early access to such advertising features. It doesn't apply across all of Amazon. It's just, if you're talking to the advertising team, it's just going to be an advertising beta feature, for instance. And that worked great. We would add on each of our clients that we had access to the greatest tools, but because of the turnover that Amazon staff has in each department, every 2 or 3 months, it's somebody new. You're just kind of a rotating door as far as, contact points. And so what happens in that is, one person might know all the contacts in order to get, a seller's ID added in as far as the beta program. The next person might not. So it's really inconsistent as far as when we can get the request approved or not.
Yeah.
So it's kind of if you know somebody internally, try it. No guarantees.
Of course.
There's no formal way of applying for it I know of.
Cool. Sorry for busting in there. I thought I'd ask just in case there was any relevance there for the audience, if they could, there was a way that they can just contact the support team, or there's a way of contacting through seller support where you can access for sponsored ads. Maybe that's where you would make a request. But
yeah,
obviously it's more about inside knowledge. And like you said, with the high churn and stuff, it's difficult to stay on top of relationships to get consistency.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
So the technicalities, break down these ads for us, what you've experienced with them so far. I know it's been quite a short period of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a little bit choppy. I mean, I think when we were testing it a year ago, we saw better results than we see now. I don't know if that's because of the way that they are displaying the ads or the products that were being displayed, because, a year ago, maybe we were working with a different account than we are today, for instance. And so a year ago, I think we were seeing an additional, maybe additional 5% in sales, which is, significant,
on larger accounts. Yeah.
Larger account. Yeah. These days, across the accounts that we've been testing it with over the past, we've been using remarketing for pretty much all of 2018 for those accounts that have that feature, and so we have some history there. So this simply just the new option of the display ad is not really new from a functionality standpoint, other than they're consolidating how you create it. It's not embedded within an existing automatic campaign. It's specifically separated as its own campaign. So it's not commingled like it was before. So what we see on that is we see about, I was looking at the numbers, we see probably an additional 3 to 5% increase in the number of ad impressions. So, that seems like a small amount, but when you're talking about hundreds of thousands or even millions of ad impressions, okay, that's a significant amount. So the ads are definitely getting out there. Mm-hmm. The problem is that we're seeing where the conversion rates are probably a tenth of what you would see through sponsored ads or headline ads. And of course, that's primarily because, they're just kind of shotgunning these ads out there. And so you're going to have much lower click-through rates. You're going to have much lower conversion rates because people might not be in the mindset. I'm a very strong believer of what's the mindset of the shopper. Are they distracted with family? Are they in, driving down the road and they see an ad while they happen to be looking on some of their site? They're not going to click through on it and buy it because they're driving down the road. They're not in the context of a shopping intent. at this very moment as if they were on Amazon itself.
Yeah.
And so I think it will continue to be the case where Amazon sponsored ads and sponsored brand ads will have a much higher conversion rate because contextually, they're being shown at the time the shoppers in the mood of buying. Their intent is much higher as far as a purchase. But I think it's a good way to, if long as you set the bidding and the budget correctly. First of all, they want Amazon is recommending at least $100 per day budget on the remarketing ads. That's fine, but I wouldn't go crazy as far as the cost per click on it, the bid that goes along with that. You're not going to get the same ROI, at least not currently. You're not going to get the same ROI as you would with ads that run natively on Amazon.
Makes sense. So the other thing, because you mentioned at the top of the show, they call them product display ads, which is a false economy because we know that where the product display ads reside in terms of AMS, which if people don't know, they're the ads that often appear underneath the buy box on the product page.
Right.
There's been rumors that they will too be arriving in Seller Central at some point. Have you heard anything else on the matter, or?
Well, here's one of the things that we observed this past week, and that was the product display in the product display ad position, which is typically the one that is on a product detail page just underneath the add to cart. We've been seeing ads that were not set up through product display ad; they were set up through automatic campaigns. So we're actually seeing that ad placement position be utilized by more than just product display ads. They're also being used by automatic campaigns from Seller Central.
Yeah.
So it is we haven't quite figured out the trick as far as to force it that way. I think it's maybe in the absence of any product display ads, then they go to the next best thing. Same thing that they do with the sponsored ads related to this item. They might, use additional content for relevance related to automatic campaigns. And so there's more commingling of ad space that Amazon is doing, and I think it's in part because of, especially if you're in a lesser competitive product niche, where your competitors are less likely to be as sophisticated as to have brand registry or to be running sponsored brand ads or have AMS and product display ads, then it becomes an opportunity is that if you to ensure that you're, in addition to manual campaigns, of course, that you're running some kind of an automatic campaign, even at a low bid. I use what I call a waterfall structure as far as automatic campaigns, which is just like tiered bidding. It's something that works pretty well for us from an automatic campaign standpoint, but it also shows the ads into the sponsored ads related to this item on a competitor's product detail page. And as we've seen last week, potentially could also show up as an ad where the product display ad placement would be, as long as my competitors are not actively advertising product display ads. And so it becomes an opportunity where at a minimum, I should have some kind of automatic campaign running for every product, just to take advantage of that. If I'm in a lesser competitive niche, I mean, I guess even if you're on a more competitive niche, even having a low bid automatic campaign for each of the products is going to have some effect, some benefit.
Yeah, I mean, just touching on your point about the amount of products per page now, which depends on what Amazon's testing. I was going through something with a client the other day. I think there was 36 plus slots on the page, and of that there was 13 sponsored ads. This is on desktop, and I could tell straight away because we've done a count up. We run I think it was Helium 10 X-ray or something like that. We run that, and then we're just looking. You can see the SPA, and you go through through the data, and you can see them. It's like just unbelievable. So all the organic positions were pushed right down. It's kind of reminding me a lot more now that, like with Google, you've got the three at the top and the right rail, and so the whole SEO thing went off out the window because no one was seeing those ads because they get pushed below the fold because you've got all like the site links and stuff underneath. And when they had the headline search ad across the top, it was huge. This was in Europe, by the way. Absolutely huge. 3 times the size of a standard headline search ad.
Right.
I don't know what you've been seeing with those kind of things as well.
Well, we see that more with, like, say, Amazon's own product line, where they're really trying to, they're testing, promoting the Amazon basics and some of their other brands. They own a lot of different brands, but we definitely see where they're highlighting those more frequently, above. The way that I look at it is, trying to get the best organic position we can, and then also be running sponsored ads and sponsored brand ads, to multiply the amount of times, to multiply the chance that a shopper is going to click through on our ad. And so Amazon's going to continue to test, large banner ads and full display ads. They're starting to do more with the store pages, as far as like a brand and store page, as far as featuring store pages.
What's your take on the conversions on those? I've not really seen, you can make them look really great looking.
Yeah.
I can't seem to get the conversions.
No, it's the same thing with the, with the enhanced brand content. You would think the conversion rates would go up.
Yeah.
And yet we really haven't measured across, clients and partners that use enhanced brand content compared to those who don't. The conversion rate is not a stellar difference. Yeah. It kind of begs the questions like, do most shoppers even scroll down to the content?
Well, this is what I was going to say to you. I forget his name now. It's a guy out of Germany, really smart guy. He made the Analyze tool, which does like indexing stuff, like a Chrome tool. And one of the things that he said to me, he said, well, you could look at with the enhanced brand content is that you end up with these long, beautiful landing pages. So he said, in theory, the longer the page, the further you're moving away from the buy box. So the more you scroll. So his idea was, you want to get your brand story across, but you want to limit the size of the page because they've got to go all the way back up again to make the purchase. You don't want them scrolling all the way down and then get distracted and go off in a different direction. Which,
like I said, you could also argue that pushes down sponsored brand or sponsored products related to this item further down the page too.
That's a good point. Yeah. So make them as long as possible, just the infinite roll,
Yeah.
So
that's a good point, though. I mean, anytime that you throw off, like I was mentioning before, I'm a big believer of like anything that can throw off a shopper from their intent or distract them or create confusion or doubt while they're on a product listing is going to reduce the conversion rate. Negative reviews. If you see a negative review on your product display page, every single negative 1 or 2 star review is probably going to drop your conversion rate by a good 1%.
Yeah, of course.
For some products, that could be brutal.
Yeah, especially on the most recent, more so. If you see,
well, it's just unvisible. Most people, I don't think, actually dive down into the reviews. But if it's on the homepage, we definitely we know as soon as we see a conversion rate drop on a product, that's the first thing we go check. Yeah.
Makes sense. And where are you with all things Q4 in the about approach the eye of the storm? Are you starting to see an uplift now?
In some product categories, certainly we got past the school, the big shopping season as far as back
I call that the dump. Yeah, it's for some categories the dump. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it went dark for a little while until Halloween started coming in. That is something else that we noticed too that was kind of interesting was Amazon's putting much tighter restrictions on the sponsored brands, previously headline search ads, as far as when you can run ads. Gotcha. Previously, you could create an ad in February, for Thanksgiving, right? Now, the way that they're doing it now, the restriction they've implemented this year is they're going to reject, by default, they're going to reject the ad until it's within 30 days of that holiday or that event.
Right. Okay.
And I think they're doing that in part because of things like Prime Day and Black Friday and people gearing up all their ads and everything. And so now you basically have to time it so that you're within 4 weeks where it starts, and it has to end on the day of the event, which is, counterintuitive to the more grandfathered headline ads that have been run in the past, where maybe it was set up last year, and every once in a while it gets a sale, maybe shows some ads and it has some ad spend. But now Amazon has definitely changed it so that new ads are restricted as far as if they're any kind of time sensitive approach. They're a lot more strict as far as the ad titles and stuff that you can put in there too. It's a lot more strict than they were last year.
Makes sense.
So it's becoming more of a. We've actually, we were talking about before the call is just the kind of hiring that each of our agencies are doing. And there's a lot of interesting areas that we're exploring from a research and development standpoint. And so we're making hiring decisions based off of some of the R&D, and one of those has to do with developing a system that puts in context more of what the product is about in relationship to a target audience, so that we can do theming of ads better and make recommendations on product listings. It's a difficult area to get into because there's a lot of theoretical testing that has to be done. It's expensive to start. But the way we look at it is that if we can even improve a client's performance by even a few percentage points, then it's going to be worth it for our investment internally.
So you've opened the doors to Canopy again, haven't you? Because you went and you've got.
We did, just recently, for October. I think we've actually filled up for our October slots, but then we'll be looking for come November 1st, our quota will open back up again. We only take on a few clients. We had over. What was it? 408 applicants for our agency, and we might take 5. It's a good problem to have, but at the same time, there's a lot of people who probably are frustrated by our own process and our own. They might look at it from a standpoint as they can't take on more clients. It's like, well, we're very careful, as you are.
Very picky.
Very careful about who we take on, so we maintain a much higher quality level than what's available on the market.
At the end of the day, the last thing you want to do, you take on too many people, they don't get serviced, they're not happy, they go elsewhere. I'd rather have happy clients. So we're actually, our doors are closed at the moment because, like you, we're hiring on the engineering side. You're doing engineering and you're doing client-facing stuff, aren't you, in terms of hires? So you've gone through that iteration where you're on, the doors are open, second, third time for you now? So you bring people on, you get everyone bedded in, you make sure that everyone's happy, you look at where you got the points of scale are, and that's where we're going for at the moment. Once we get these hires done, we'll open the doors again in January. We're still obviously speaking to potential clients and stuff, but it's very important to not rush. I know that everyone says, break things and move forward, and I'd be the first to say that in some cases, but when you're bringing people onto an agency, I think, and the onboarding process, and for us, the redesigning the algorithms for their account and all those kind of things, there's a lot of bespoke stuff that we do. It takes a lot of time, so you want to get it right the first time around,
Yeah, I think that's the case with any agency or software or consultant is, if as a seller, if you're looking to hand off, to outsource to a software consultant or agency, if they take on anyone, I'd second guess that. I'd question that.
Yeah.
Because you kind of wonder, it's like, okay, obviously whoever I'm speaking with is not going to be doing the work, if they're taking on everyone, and what's the level of quality that's really occurring. Now, you might get them cheap. They might be free, for that matter. The quality definitely changes considerably, especially, like you and me. Like, we can't afford to burn our own reputation by doing anything less than just fantastic for our clients.
Yeah, and that's why sometimes when it comes to, you have to say no to certain clients, not because you want to be rude or anything, but because I can't do anything or we can't do what we want to do for them. It's not there. Like sometimes people want to meet certain ACOS and they're in a super competitive niche, and the only way they're going to do is spend their way up, and it's high risk and it's going to look ugly. but you have to explain it to clients. You know, I'd rather take on someone where we know we can help grow them, because I'm a big believer is rather than having a churn rate, I'd rather people leave the agency because they're cutting off their own nose to spite their face, not leaving because we done something wrong. Do you see what I mean? So we keep a tight rein like you do. But what's the best way to reach you, etc.? And do you want to tell people about the Facebook group? I mean, most of the audience are in now, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Facebook group is Amazon PPC Troubleshooting.
Yeah.
There's about over 14,000 sellers in there. So it's a good group. It's pretty active. We just brought in 3 new moderators to help make sure that everybody's taken care of on a daily basis. And, that we're filtering out the spammers and that kind of stuff. Obviously, we're very picky as far as who we let in there as well. Amazon PPC Troubleshooting is the group. It's a great community. It's free. Of course, I still have my sponsored ads, Sponsored Products Academy training course. It's available. And then, of course, as we were talking about, is the Canopy Dot Management is the website for our. There's no .com or anything. It's just Canopy Dot Management, but that's our own agency.
Cool. And how do people reach out if they want to, speak to you about the agency as the doors are open again?
Yeah, so we actually have we've got a get started form on Canopy Dot Management that allows people to submit. Kind of what I was mentioning before is that we just had a recent influx of a lot of requests, and so our small sales team is I think we've got 3 people on our sales team where we got job recs out there for additional help, but it's one of those things where the sales team is trying to go through all the applicants and try to find which ones are the best combination that they're then going to feed to me that I can then get on a call with. But kind of like you and I were just talking about is that we're very selective to make sure that we're going to be successful with a client. It's not like I don't want to say we're picking the easy ones, that we're actually picking very difficult ones.
Yeah.
But we know that with our team and our processes and our technology that we had developed internally, like you do, that we're going to have be able to provide a significant positive return for the clients that we do take on.
Yeah.
So,
makes total sense. What about, do you do like one-off consults and stuff like that?
I don't anymore. I used to. Yeah. So I did, and I kind of priced myself out of the market as far as the hourly rate. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, my focus is definitely on the agency.
Yeah.
I've got the technology side of things. Of course, I still have PPC Scope as the software, but all of the new technology that we're developing with our new software team, that and the agency takes up all my time. So unfortunately, I can't do the one-off consulting anymore.
Makes sense.
I wish I could. I wish I could help more people.
Well, you do a lot of help through the group, don't you? And the thing is, now more people are chiming in on the group to support the questions. So I'm not being funny. For years, you've been running the group, and you've been giving a lot of your time up there, haven't you? So
true.
The community do get access to you. So, and again, thanks for coming on today. So, guys, pleasure. Thank you for joining us. Brian, thank you for joining us. If this is your first time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'll see you again in the next few days. Take care.